Good morning, everybody. This is Vinil here. I see that a lot of people are joining in. So a lot of people had actually signed up. So should we give about 2 minutes for them to join? I got some messages saying people are joining in right now. So we'll wait for another 2 minutes and we'll start at exactly 8 in 2 more minutes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning and good evening, because I have today people joining in from several time zones. I think, yeah, we just wanted to wait for 3 minutes before we get started because some of the people who had signed up had requested me that they would be joining in a short while. So let's get started now. Thank you all for taking the time out and being here today. The team at ServiceNext thanks you for joining this interesting conversation on how AI is transforming HR service as a function by bringing in automation to serve employees faster and better. So that said, um, let's move on to the agenda for today. Before that, wanted to introduce myself. I am the CEO at ServiceNext.ai. Like you've seen in the previous slide, ServiceNext is just to give you a 10-second pitch of what ServiceNext does. It's a cloud-based AI platform and built specifically for resolving employee HR and IT support issues instantly and automatically. Using you might have people call them bots, chatbots, digital assistants, whatever you call that. But these are assistants, digital assistants, which can help employees for faster self-service and automatic resolution of issues that they might be having. So just wanted to look at a couple of things before we get started. One is if you have any questions, because the entire session there are too many people, the participants are muted, so you can. But nevertheless, we want to make this a very interactive session. So if you have any questions, you can type in them in the comments, and then I will make sure that we will respond to that. So that's it. Let's get started. Like I said, I'm Vinil Vadi. I am the CEO at ServiceNext. So for the agenda today, I have in the meeting, I'm supported by Kasi, who is the head of customer success for us. I also have Zubair joining in and Milan from the technology and the head of engineering. And we also have the head of marketing, Zubair, here. That said, for today, over the next 15 minutes, I think we'll discuss about what are the trends out there happening, especially in digital transformation related to HR as a function, solving what kind of problems out there, right? And challenges and the opportunities that we have where AI can come in and play a role of transforming service management in HR and IT help desk, followed by we'll talk a little bit about the SNX Smart Parts capabilities, both in resolving HR and IT issues, incidents, and what you have. We'll also do a demo. It's a very interesting demo where we have our HR service bot, which is called Amanda. And let's talk to Amanda and see how she can help resolve some of the most common challenges that employees have when it comes to HR or IT incidents and questions and so on and so forth. And then we can leave the floor to any question and answers that you might have. So, like I said, what are the, we've talked to at ServiceNext, I have talked to at least 40 to 50 HR leaders of very large enterprises, right? $1 billion kind of enterprises, to understand where the opportunities are, or what the challenges are that they face today, right? So, and plus, we also looked at a lot of analyst reports, right? In terms of, because we work very closely with partners of the world. They profile us very often. We partnered with them to understand what the industry trends are, what's out there, happening out there. So this is a culmination of all of that. So they have done several surveys, and these surveys show in terms of what the top most pain points are, the top 3 or 4 pain points that HR leaders are facing today. Right? And the top one being one of them, most of the HR leaders see that employee delight and retention, the number one factor for that is personalized support. Right? So they're looking at faster resolution, personalized resolution for them. And these play, like for example, one of the HR leaders I was talking to said, he kind of articulated in a very simple fashion about employee delight or the lack of it, and what is the damage done for that. He said, a simple travel expense report, delay in processing a travel expense report would result in an unhappiness of an associate. And when he talks about it to another associate or a couple of other associates within the floor, it creates a negative impact, both consciously or unconsciously, right? That's how without us knowing that, these hidden, you can say, perceptions, right? Those are the biggest challenges for HR leaders that they are tackling with today, right? In terms of how to improve the perception of service as for HR as a service function, right? So these small things, I think, put together, create a very large impact when you look at the overall workforce and the perception of the service that is being delivered. Right? So that's the number one factor. The number two is most of the leaders that I talk to, especially at large enterprises, they've already budgeted for AI solutions to automate HR operations. So which means that within the next couple of years, you will see AI being adopted by a lot of large enterprises to help them serve their employees better and faster, and ultimately improve or transform their experience. And so today, the biggest challenge or the opportunity, or we can look at it as the opportunity, is that HR leaders face the challenge of it's not that HR leaders don't want to serve employees faster and better. That's their key KRA. But the challenge is, how do you scale the HR operation? Right? You're getting bombarded with so many requests. Right? How do you deal with all of them? Right? Because you don't have unlimited budget in terms of when it comes to HR as a function. So the goal is always to be as productive as possible. Right? So that is where they see that scaling, right, where you need more and more people, is the biggest challenge for them. Right? So to do more with less is the number one goal. So these are some of the trends that I just wanted to go through, and then looking at leaders, and overall industry trends. So from Gartner and other analyst reports, especially the first one that you see here, Gartner predicts that almost 85% of all large enterprises, especially within the Fortune segment, would have adopted bots to automate their HR processes within the next 18 months. Right? That's the quick pace of adoption that we are seeing. Right? And coming from an employee perspective or the stakeholder perspective, it is estimated that more than 25% of all digital workers will be using a virtual assistant or a digital assistant or a chatbot. So those are some of the trends that are happening out there in terms of adoption, AI adoption, and how leaders, HR leaders, and IT leaders are perceiving that, and what's happening when it comes to adoption. So what are the bigger benefits that we are looking at when we are talking about digital assistants, or we'll see a demo in a short while for us to better better get our hands around in terms of the capabilities and the flawless experience that digital assistants bring in. But then, what are the biggest factors, right? So digital assistants, if you look at the overall ticket, or you can say request volume that's coming in from employees today, this is both from an industry trend, but more importantly from the customers that we serve today. The trend that we have seen is 60 to 70% of all requests that are hitting a HR help desk today are related to policy-related questions, right? In terms of what are my travel benefits, what are my insurance benefits, am I eligible for annual health checkup, what are the credit card guidelines, so on and so forth, right? While we have a lot of portals today, it's a very cumbersome experience today, and it's not only cumbersome, it's also a overwhelming experience today, where you have, for one company that we work with, they had a knowledge base of about close to 5,000 articles. Now it becomes extremely cumbersome for employees to go through the entire database and get to the right article. And what is the easier way out? Just send a mail to HR and then, crib if they don't respond on time. So that's the kind of trend today. So how can we deflect all of those to a kind of a self-service model where a digital assistant can help you with those kind of questions? So those are some of the challenges and business benefits that you can get, where you can rapidly scale your HR organization seamlessly by moving a lot of the level 1 or kind of requests to a bot. So a little bit of who we are, where we come from. So ServiceNext is one of the digital innovation platforms in Sunera Tech. So Sunera Tech is the parent company. And ServiceNext is one of the digital innovation platforms. We are a worldwide company. We are about 1,000 people, more than 1,000 people. We are primarily focused on the North American market. Our focus areas are IT automation, cloud migration, and digital innovation. So that's a little bit of who we are, the customers that we serve. Our focus has been mostly in manufacturing. A large number of our customers in the North American segment come from manufacturing. We also do a lot of telecom and healthcare. That's the vertical focus for us. So what are all the within the gamut of AI? What are all the solutions that we work on? We do digital assistants. Today we are going to talk about digital assistant, especially for HR. That's the focus. But we have several solutions. We have AI. We have one of the largest AI and machine learning labs in Asia. In Hyderabad, we have about close to 12 PhDs from Carnegie Mellon, from Stanford, leading this whole digital labs for us. And our focus is three things. We do bots, RPA solutions, which is robotic process automation. We do predictive intelligence, and we also work with a large turnkey solutions for enterprises. Some of the bot customers that we work today, we wanted to show you some select customers. You can see that we are processing close to 250 million interactions as of now. That's the run rate. By by December 2019, I think we'd reach almost 500 million interactions processed. So what are the solutions that we have within the help desk realm? Two things: HR help desk and IT help desk. While the focus is today HR help desk, we also work with a lot of other companies where we are automating IT as a function. Right? So for HR help desk, we have about 23 out-of-the-box resolution use cases. Right? We'll go through the list of what all the bot can handle. But that is why we call ServiceNext as a smart bot, because it comes with a lot of capabilities. We'll learn about that in a minute. As far as very recent success story that we're very proud of, one of the largest multinational universities adopted ServiceNext HR bot, where currently they've gone live only for about 2 months now. But it's been a successful implementation so far, where we've been able to deflect up to 70% of all the policy FAQ requests that come in. They have a large employee base of about 3,000 employees working across multiple locations. So that's one of the success stories, recent success stories that we wanted to highlight. So coming to the use cases, right? What are all the use cases that we work on today? So the way we look at, does the digital assistant have the capability to process transactions? That is, you want to apply leave, you want to check your leave balance, you want to cancel your leave requests, and so on and so forth, right? So transactions like that, like conference room booking, smart meeting scheduling, employee onboarding, offboarding, internal corporate communications. So these are some of the transactions that a digital assistant can handle today. So we kind of bunch them under the category of HR transactions. So now moving on to more on the information requests, right? So these are mostly related to policy and eligibility, frequently asked questions. So there, again, the smart bot is built with the capability of understanding a lot of the policies, HR policies, payroll related, travel related, benefits related, taxation related. So these are some of the enterprise language model that we have already built. So what do I mean by enterprise language model is across the HR function, anywhere that you go, the enterprise language is the same, right? In terms of, okay, a payroll is payroll in every other company. Travel is, travel in every other company. So like that, we've built a database of close to 16 or 17,000 different use cases, or we call them utterances, where when people ask questions, then the bot is able to relate to one of these policies and drill down and help the employee with the related request. So that's on the policy and eligibility FAQs. Now, we've also built additional capability, which we call as cross-functional transactions. Right? So these are more related to, because HR is not an isolated function today. So these are more related to, cross-functional kind of, going into the realm of, because if you look at it as a seamless transaction, a payroll-related question, or, asset management, or, taxation, or, these are parking requests, or, these are some of the things that cross boundaries of HR. So we've kind of bunched them together as cross-functional transactions, and then we build those capabilities within the bot. So I'll just take a break and see if there are any questions coming in so far. Milind, do we have any questions coming in? Sure. So let me quickly move forward then. This is just to give you a 1 minute overview of, while the focus is HR, we also wanted to bring your attention to the IT capabilities that we have. We have about 31 use cases that we can automate using our IT help desk smart bot. Across authentication, which is always your password resets, access and authorization management. This is more related to workflow. Let's say you want to have an access to a shared folder, you want to get yourself added to an email group list or distribution list, or you need access to an online folder, whatever it is. So those are the use cases. And of course, we do entire ITSM incident management, right from incident triage to creation to everything. Again, from a self-service guided troubleshooting point, we have close to 12 or 13,000 different FAQs that we have pre-processed and kept ready. And then, of course, outage management. When some of your systems are down, then the bot can interact with those systems and inform users proactively, saying, hey, you know what, your billing system is down, or your CRM is down, or your leave management is down, and then what is the... So those are some of the use cases from an IT desk point of view. Now, looking at a snapshot of the overall SmartBot solution capabilities, right? From an audience perspective, in terms of who will this bot benefit, it is mostly HR leaders and HR directors. And okay, let me just close that. Yeah. From an audience standpoint, so like I said, what is the target audience? Any large enterprise which has a large employee base and then has a lot of policies, complex policies. And then if you're using any of the current popular enterprise HCMs like Oracle, SAP, SuccessFactors, Workday. So today, our bot has a capability to work with almost all those systems. What are the capabilities that the bot brings to the enterprise? So today, SmartBots can handle up to 70% of all your policy request traffic, right? Which means that you are saving, literally thousands of hours of HR productivity, and then which you could in turn use on more important HR functions. Right? And of course, it also has a huge impact on employee engagement in terms of employee experience, in terms of faster engagement, 24/7 support, which is very, very critical for employees because we have seen that one of the customers, for them, having 24/7 was extremely critical because they were distributed across multiple geographies. That was one. And they were struggling to ramp up and scale, HR desk at every location. That was one. After-hour support was one of the critical requirements for one of the large manufacturing companies that we worked with. So they were not having, 24 capability to handle requests 24/7. It was only a 9 to 6 operation. So the bot was able to take a lot of those 24/7 requests and process them immediately. And of course, the biggest advantage is that today you can reduce the time it takes to approve requests like leave requests or asset requests, travel, and that creates a big impact, right? Where the bot is proactively taking that and reminding the approver, saying, hey, you know what, you have this, your SLA is this, it's already 5 hours. Would you like to approve or reject this? And so that kind of a supportive, conversational prodding, helps overall in reducing the time it takes to approve today by giving proactive reminders to approvers. So how are we different? While there are a couple of competitors that we have, how are we differentiated? So if you look at bots out there in the market today, so the onus of these bot frameworks come with capabilities to build a bot, right? So what does that mean? If you go to a Microsoft bot framework or a Google bot framework or any other IBM, what happens is they will give you the framework and which will enable you to build the bot. Now, building a bot, while it might sound very simple, is underneath it is a very complex process, right? It involves 3 or 4 things like you have to train the bot to understand the HR processes. That's number one. So you have to train it to understand what, if somebody is asking, what is my leave balance, right? You have to train the bot to understand that first, right? So the enterprise language modeling itself is a huge, difficult task. It requires machine learning experts, it requires natural language processing experts, and so on and so forth, right? And then there is the case of integrations, right? You have to build integrations to your existing HR information systems, HRIS systems. Then you have to finally integrate with a lot of the channels, right? In terms of where will the bot live? Will the bot live on a Skype? Will the bot live on Microsoft Teams? Or will it live on your web portal? So that integration has to be done. Now, so what ServiceNext Smart Bot does is it cuts away all that implementation and customization headache for you, right? And even maintenance headache for you. Because building the bot is one thing, but then having to continuously look at the bot, improve its performance, and retrain it where it is not understanding a particular issue, bringing in new transaction capabilities is the much bigger task. Right? So ServiceNext takes away all that headache for you as HR leaders, where the bot comes with a lot of capabilities built in. So, for example, for the large university that I was talking about, we just took 6 weeks for the bot to go live, where it is handling 70% of all the policy requests that's coming in, right? So that's about it, what it takes, right? That's one. Second is, you can go live with minimal use cases within 4 weeks time, right? And the best part of it is, unlike the other bot solutions out there, we are not a capital intensive model. That means you don't have to invest anything upfront, right? We are a simple cloud based SaaS solution where you pay as you go for the solution. And it's not only pay as you go, it's also pay per use. What does that mean? It means that when you adopt ServiceNext as a solution, you would only pay for the number of employees that the bot supported or the number of questions that the bot supported. So you can get started with the subscription with as low as $1,000 a month. Right? So that is the kind of, because we have already invested in all that infrastructure, we are able to extend the capability to you where you can use it as a commoditized service. Now, on the integrations and the channels, so today our bot comes with pre-built capabilities where we are integrated with any of the most of the popular HRIS systems out there. So that's kind of how we differentiate ourselves in the market. Now, another question a lot of people have is, what is the technology? Should I worry about the technology? Is your technology better than others? So in order to do away with that, and in order to have a very future-proof solution, we've used the best of the breed approach. So what does that mean? It means that the bot's core capabilities of AI, machine learning, cognition, context, all that was built using the best technologies out there, where we use a combination of Google's Dialogflow, we use Amazon's Lex, we also use Google's TensorFlow. So we've used the best of the capabilities out there already available from a machine AI infrastructure standpoint, right? And our solution is hosted very securely on AWS, and it's highly encrypted. We are HIPAA compliant, and so that is the level of infrastructure that this solution is built on. Now, on top of that, we went ahead and built a lot of these HR capabilities that I just talked about, where we built an enterprise language model of 16,000 use cases, whatever channel that you use today by your employees, right? Whether they are on Slack, whether they are on web, whether they are using Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, whatever messaging solution that you have, the bot can live on that. Right? So employees don't need to actually click on the employee portal, go there, sign in, and all that. Right? So wherever they are, they can start interacting with the HR bot. So just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the architecture, because a lot of people have questions around it. Right? So now let's quickly go to the demo part of it. So I will show you a demo of a bot. So I'll just take a break and see if there are any questions before I go to the demo. Okay, let me see this. Okay, so I think there are no questions at this point in time. Should we go with the demo then? Okay, so the demo that you're going to see next is on, this is on the bot, one of the bots that we deployed on Microsoft Teams. So you can see that using Microsoft Teams, I can chat with Amanda. So I can add Amanda as a contact. So every employee within the organization, just like you have your other friends that you chat with on Microsoft Teams, you can add Amanda. And once I click on Amanda, I can start talking to her. I'll say hi. And then Amanda responds saying, this is the current username for me. So MacBot user, it says, hi MacBot user. And I am Dia, your digital assistant. I can help you with the following, right? So let's ask some of the standard or most asked questions saying, okay, I have a question on what is our domestic travel policy, right? So quickly what it did was in the backend, it went, this bot is integrated to SAP SuccessFactors, and it went to the SuccessFactors knowledge base. First, it understood that I'm asking for a travel policy, and this is the intent. We call this the intent. So it understood that this is the intent, and then it went, it took that intent, went to SuccessFactors, and then it got me all the policy related questions, right? So it got me domestic travel policy. If I click on that, then it gets me the domestic travel policy summary. And then I can click on there and go look at the domestic travel policy, right? Again, it is pulling this link from the SuccessFactors knowledge base. Let me go back and then followed by, so this is important. Here it's asking for a survey saying, did the answer satisfy you, right? Now, based on this is important, where we encourage employees to kind of take this very short survey. Once I say yes, then, it kind of, thanks me for the feedback, and then that feedback is recorded. So this is used for training purposes. So let's look at some other thing. I'll say, what is our company least accommodation policy? So you can see that even though I typed a spelling mistake here, doesn't matter. So it was able to find out that what is the company least accommodation policy that we have within the database, and it was able to pull that up. Now let's look at some other things like annual health checkup. I want to know more about our annual health checkup. Let's do that. So again, so it was looking at this, it went directly to my knowledge base, and then, it kind of availing the health checkup facility. What is it? And then I can, of course, click here and go to the there. Now let's look at something like group insurance policy. Right? So it kind of picked up the employee deposit linked insurance is to provide assured benefits to dependents of the employees in the event of employee's death, right? So things like that. So let's now look at one more thing. Credit card, let's say usage or guidelines. So again, it's going and picking up the summary for me. It's giving a summary for me, and then it's also doing this. Similarly, I can go on asking it across various functions, healthcare. Let's say, okay, I have flexi timing policy, I'll say. I'm not sure if flexi or it is work from home, but yeah, even though it is work from home, I typed flexi timing. So it kind of picked up saying, okay, employees have to log in 9 hours a day, including breaks. But then if you want to look at the rest of the policy, please go here. And then, it is kind of giving this. So let's test some other things like, let's say mobile phone policy. So like that, it can kind of pick up any of the things that I want to ask it. Now let's look at some of the transactions. Let's say, what is my leave balance? Right? So what it did was, it kind of quickly went to the HRIS system, and then it kind of pulled out, all the leave balance for me. So this is how it kind of said, okay, privilege leave quota, PL carry forward, and then the casual leave and sick leave quotas that I have. So let me say apply leave. So it's saying, okay, please enter the leave dates. So I'll say 13th September to, I'll say 15th September. So then what it did was it said, okay, which kind of leave do you want this to be a part of, right? I'll say privilege leave is the class that I want to do. I'll say traveling to Everest. So once it does that, then, it kind of, went to the system, updated the leave, and then it also said, I can leave all my applied leaves so far, right? Not only that, it's pulled my entire leave history, right? Not only that, now I can go and cancel my leave if I want that right from here. So that is some kind of leave use cases, how we can use that. And then we can also use it for other transactions. Let's say, what other transactions? Okay, I'll say I want to book a conference room. So I'll say 14th September. So it's saying, okay, I'll say 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Then it's saying, based on the time, then it went and looked at the availability of the conference room, different conference room, and then it's given me the rooms here. And let me say if I want to book it at Lily, please mention the conference purpose. Okay, Unilever bot on config. So your conference room is booked. And now what I can do is I can also look at, let's say, I'll say my coming meetings. So then, it's kind of showed that, okay, and at Lily, and it'll also prompt me when, before the meeting, it'll prompt me based on my channel that, okay, you have a conference coming up or a meeting coming up, and the purpose of this is this, and whatever. And, now I can also have the capability to cancel that particular leave if I want. So that's about, okay. Let's look at something else like, okay, what are the, or I can just say coming holidays in September, right? So it can pull out all the holidays, or I can say is tomorrow holiday. Right now, even though I said right, is tomorrow a holiday, right? Then it said the next holiday, because it said you don't have a holiday tomorrow. The next holiday is Wednesday, October 2nd. So things like that, we have, like I said, I can show you all the, all the use cases that, the bot has here. You can see domestic travel policies, credit cards. So these are all these come pre-trained within the bot, right? Thousands of use cases. The list, just wanted to show you the list, a part of the list, so that you can understand the kind of enterprise library that we've built for the bot to understand various functions and be able to help with a lot of transactions. And so just wanted to quickly understand if there are any questions. So far, we just have 10 more minutes left. So wanted to understand if there are any questions regarding any of the capabilities that we've seen or demo that we've seen so far. Sure. Okay. I don't think there are any questions coming in from the participants. Okay. So, yeah. So moving on, I think, one of the, as closing, I wanted to share some more thoughts on the bot. So what we do is currently we offer something called as a proof of value engagement. Now, in this proof of value engagement, what we do, 1 second, I think I brought up the wrong slide. Just bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, so somebody, I think, brought it up. Thank you so much, guys. So what we offer is a proof of value engagement. Now, what does this mean? It means that we can configure 2 use cases of your choice, but we prefer FAQ automation for self-service, where the bot is trained on policy eligibility related FAQs like we have seen right now, and also automate issues of triage and management in terms of understanding if there is a specific issue, understanding what the issue is all about, and then routing that particular issue to the right stakeholder within the HR system. Right? So this whole HR incident management is another use case. So we developed these use cases as a part of the proof of value engagement for you, right? And it takes us about 4 weeks to configure these 2 use cases. Once we configure that, then we let you use the bot for a month or a couple of weeks, and try it in real time within your enterprise, right? Or to a limited set of audience, right? That you would want to deploy it to. Now, once you see that, now this is entirely at our cost. So we invest in building this proof of value for you, so that you could see the actual power of it, and in terms of what are the benefits that you are getting out of a digital assistant. So that's the takeaway. I think I just wanted to share that with you. If you are interested, please reach out to Milind or any of the folks on this particular webinar, and then we'll be able to quickly onboard you, kick off your proof of value engagement on the onboard you with this. So and then so with that, I just wanted to see if there are any questions from the audience, or even if you don't have any immediate questions, even if you have questions that come across your mind later after the webinar, please shoot an email to the same ID where you got the invite, and the promise is that we would respond to you within 24 hours of whatever questions or queries that you might have on how the bot functions, what is the pricing, or what does it take for you to implement that. Any questions that you might have, right? We'll be able to help you answer those. I'll wait minutes to see if there are any questions from the audience. If there are no other questions, then we'll close the session with a thank you note. Sure. I guess I don't see any questions coming in. So what we'll do is we'll close the session. Thank you all so much for taking the time out and joining us today. So like I said, please feel free to reach out to us in case you have any questions or queries, and then we'll be more than happy to respond to them, and hope this was a productive session for you. Thank you all.